If you're spiritual, you've probably heard of the term loosh and this idea that we're getting our loosh harvested by these interdimensional entities. But did you ever consider the fact that you also harvest loosh on a daily basis? Hear me out. Loosh is defined as a metaphysical term for psychic energy or life force generated by human emotions, particularly pain, fear, and suffering. Interesting that these emotions, but love is also one of the most powerful, but interesting that pain, fear, and suffering are the three that they, you know what I'm saying, like the most. Somehow our pain, our suffering is used by interdimensional entities for suffering. Sounds kind of out of the box, but what if I told you you already do this? First example, cartoons. Hear me out. I know this is going to sound crazy. I got a bunch of ideas. Cartoons literally show you that, like, bro, as a kid, do you remember Looney Tunes? I might be aging myself, but bro, I used to watch cartoons where all the characters just smack each other around, bam, bam, or their lives are just terrible. Every single day they just suffer and just, it's not that they suffer, but every story is like, they can never win. They're always fighting something. They're always getting beat the fuck up. And because they're a cartoon, we just laugh. This is our entertainment. We're completely entertained by it. We don't care how bad they feel. We don't care how much pain they go through. And we will run it back thousands of different times just to laugh again at the same joke. And the joke being, maybe he gets his fucking head smashed in with a mallet. Weird. Now, those large emotions that the character feels feed us, and we also gain from it. Another example is other people's pain. We gain laughter from other people. Like one of the earliest memories I have of just dying laughing with my friends, we were walking on a trail, right? This kid is at the top of the hill on his, we don't know why the fuck he did this, but he just thought he could send it. He sent that shit. This kid is so young, bro. He's caught them speed wobbles. We already knew. That nigga said, bam, crashed completely, sent us all dying. But that's when we were kids. I know, it's fucked up to laugh, but like, why does your body initially laugh at fucked up situations like that? Just because it's not you. Why is that funny to watch a kid eat ass? Why did your body laugh? That's because pain and pleasure are actually quite linked in the human brain. These intense emotions, literally, they feed something in us, because back in our evolutionary days, life was either completely calm or completely crazy. Either you were chilling in your village or you were fighting off a fucking bear. So your brain is completely, it searches for these novel, intense experiences. So when it sees one like that, it kind of makes you laugh. Once you see a kid bust his ass, the same parts of the brain light up around pain and pleasure. So if you know that you're safe, it leans more towards pleasure, but it's still an intense emotion. The next one, BDSM. Have you ever considered the fact, like, wow, during sex, something that's supposed to be pleasurable for both people, somebody can literally beat the fuck out of one, and the submissive one likes it most of the time, but imagine in rape cases where the submissive one is not submissive and does not want that shit. The person doing it is still gaining so much pleasure from taking away this person's innocence, defenses, from spanking, whipping the person, from inflicting pain, and they gain so much pleasure from it. Not just laughing pleasure, but sexual pleasure too, which is much more powerful, we already know. So it's like, wait, why is that? You know what I'm saying? Are we sucking up loosh from other people in these circumstances when we see somebody fail or when we inflict pain for certain reasons? I'm not saying I'm into BDSM, that's just a crazy example, because it's real. I mean, it's not even just man on women. There's sometimes the men just want to get kicked in the nuts. And that makes you wonder, like, damn, what is that? But we already know that the brain is connected to, has the two pathways connected. I took a picture, but I forgot. Yes, the brain uses a shared circuitry for pain, pleasure, and arousal. So under certain conditions, Pain can become pleasurable, fear can become exciting. Why do we go on roller coasters? That makes no sense. Why do we strap ourselves to a fucking seat that goes up in the sky and just drops us down? Or why do we jump out of a plane? Why do we want that shit? It's because these intense emotions generate, what do they generate for us? It's very interesting because we want it so bad. Science will tell you that your brain seeks out these novel, dangerous experiences because once you come down from them, you're now more sensitive to pleasure and baseline happiness because your brain's like, oh, we almost just died. I get that. That's why there's adrenaline junkies. And at the same time, your brain generates so many. Adrenaline is a drug. Oxytocin, that's a drug. And you get all these things from just sending yourself, I guess. So I get it, but could it be something deeper spiritually? For example, are we something like cartoons to fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional entities? Are our lives being ran back every single, are our existences being played and messed around with by interdimensional higher beings? It's so easy to say that this reality is all there is, but bro, of course you would think that. Cartoons think that reality is all there is, but of course they would think that. What else can they think? They are limited by their very avatars. The fact is, we do gain a lot of, there's just so many examples where you gain pleasure from other people's pain. For example, fighting, you gain pleasure from beating somebody's ass. Debating, you gain pleasure from making somebody look dumb. Or, I don't know, but I think we are the loosh generators. And if we generate and harvest loosh on 2D creatures like video games, think about the shit that you put your GTA character through. Goddamn, bro. Rest in peace to that nigga. But even he doesn't even know that he's being played like a game. Through his perspective, he's just moving through one linear time axis. But from our perspective, we have the entire multiverse of GTA on one system, and it's nothing to us. It's simple. So what if this reality is nothing to another entity, higher entity, and they just want us to suffer, bro? People say this world is so good, but 90% of people are just suffering. The 10%, they're fine. Yes, there is 10%. You know what I'm saying? They can wake up on beaches, just don't gotta go to work, just attractive, fucking healthy. They're fine. But a lot of people are broke, homeless, have no purpose. All their friends died. It's bad for a lot of people. So who is gaining who's gaining pleasure from this? Maybe nobody, but at the same time, there is a lot of energy, and if somebody knew how to harness that energy that we all produce from the economy being bad, from war happening, or even from the good that comes out of this, like I said, love is the strongest vibration. So maybe they put us through all this, hatred, anger, adrenaline, whatever the fuck. They put us through these bad emotions so that once we get back to a loving state, the loving state is way better. Like, of course, when people are poor, they say, at least we have family. You know what I'm saying? The hardships make the love even stronger. One thing about rich people is a lot of times that shit be sterile. They make all the money, but they can't hang out with their family, or they got a target on their back. They can't really enjoy life. They're too famous. They can't go outside. The main point is, you know what I'm saying, we also generate loosh and harvest it from each other. And we really need to think about that. Immediately, things like amusement parks. Why do people open amusement parks? Because people will go and entertain that energy. They will entertain that place because the place gives them this loosh energy, and they want that. Why do people open up sports stadiums? Because once two people start getting these intense emotions, not only just the players, but the fans too, that's a ball of intense energy, and they will continue going back, continue watching that show, continue supporting that business because they give them, you get loose for watching sports. The porn industry will always continue because that amount of energy that you get from doing certain things, basically certain things that give you the biggest amounts of energy, tangible energy that your body can feel like a drug. That's how there's profit in that. So being that, what does that mean for this world? What would the entities be using our loosh for? Maybe it's just a fun laugh. Maybe they're using it for, I don't know what they're using it for. But if we use it, they gotta be using it. Let me know what y'all think.